And Daniel Tosh.
I just tweeted basically saying, completely support the guy for being a comic in a comedy club, period. Even if it's rape jokes, sorry.
Now, did he apologize?
Sorry, yeah, he did.
Why?
I'll
he has a lot to lose.
Tosh,
why did we apologize?
Yeah, he has a lot to lose.
We didn't want to
man.
apologize.
But he's the guy that, like, does that stuff.
He's not a pussy, though. Tosh is a pretty edgy show.
Oh, yeah.
But he really just fucking... When you got millions on the line and you just got to say you're sorry to some cunt...
And I think apologizing is okay these days because everyone knows it's fake bullshit.
It means nothing.
It means absolutely nothing. So now I feel like it's fine.
But
if you have to save your stupid gig. If
Comedy Central comes and goes, look, they replay his show all the time.
Right.
The one joke in a comedy club is... Because that's not some big artistic statement he made. It was just a dumb off-the-cuff thing. And like every comedian, he's being edgy and he's fucking saying... that he's making fun of rape because if you sat Tosh down and said, do you think rape is a funny thing? He'd go, no, of course. It's a terrible thing.
Right.
That's the challenge for a comic.
When you're on stage, a different story.
You take, and I will apologize for child molesting jokes when Kevin Bacon apologizes for playing a child molester. This is why the public are such fucking twats, because never are actors asked to apologize for roles they play. Yeah. They can address anything they want artistically. But as a comedian, if you address it artistically, these fuckheads think it's okay to blog about it and that you should be punished for it. They've never... What it is...
Why is that?
The public are cunts. Wow. Sorry I'm yelling. But that's what
true.
it is.
And that's where comics and radio guys are very similar.
Yeah.
Because the stuff we say... We're trying to entertain our people as well.
Show.
Imus was trying to entertain that day. I know we always go back to Imus, but that changed a lot of shit. That day, Imus was just trying to be funny and entertain his audience, period. And if you sat Imus down, he would explain that.
Yeah.
And Pacino, by the way, one of his best roles, Scarface, has he ever had to come out and apologize for that?
Right.
And I guess making fun of something, they're going to say, portrays it in a different light. Fuck you. Pacino... And again, I love Scarface, but every drug dealer, I mean the Mexican cartel guys, have fucking Scarface pictures
they love them.
in their house.
Right.
This guy, he portrayed drug dealers to a way that makes drug dealers feel amazing. And not once has Pacino ever been asked to apologize for that. But man, if you're a comedian and you make light of rape or fucking a child, you're a terrible person.
Right.
Yeah.
The fucking public is just shitty. And I mean a small segment of them.
But that small segment has a massive voice.
But it's an act. And why should an act that's comedy be any different than an act that's drama? You're right.
It makes no sense.
And I read this broad's...
It makes no sense. That makes no sense.
I read her blog, and basically she was out there in L.A. with a friend. They're like, what do you want to do tonight? Let's go see some comedy. They go to the Laugh Factory. They see Dane Cook and basically go, well, he wasn't really our cup of tea, but we dealt with it. And then Daniel Tosh came on, and... You know, he had a rape joke, so this stupid lady had to fucking pipe up.
This is what happened.
And what did she say exactly?
She said, like, rape isn't funny. Or he was making fun of rape, saying it's always funny. He was being over the top and sarcastic. He was taking what a comedian will do sometimes, such a ridiculous point of view that no rational person could think that he means it.
Right. That's when it becomes funny.
That's the part of that's funny. It's so over the top, it's funny.
And not to tear down a wall, but we do that very thing here on our show.
Of course we do.
And a bunch of radio guys that have gotten in a lot of fucking trouble and lost their gigs did the exact same thing, too. Over the top shit to make you go, whoa.
Yes.
That's something you don't hear every day.
I hate to break it down for people.
Right.
But the Three Stooges really didn't hit each other with wrenches.
What?
It started with that, you think?
Ruining it.
But I mean,
alert.
The point is that's
yeah, really, man.
That's a violent act. To cave somebody's head in with a wrench is a violent act.
Well, we all laughed at it.
It's hilarious because it's slapstick.
Because no one could survive that.
Well, rape is a
life.
horrible thing. The idea of slapstick in a way is different now. But to me, that is a verbal form of slapstick. It is being so over the top.
Yeah.
And again, I'm not shitting on Tosh for apologizing, because again, if I was in his position, he does a very edgy show.
Yeah,
he's a real comic. Look, man, the pressure got to be a lot, and it's not worth throwing everything away to make a statement about a dumb off-the-cuff joke you do in a comedy club.
Right.
So I don't blame him, and if I was in his shoes like Tracy...
Fake apology.
Yeah, but fuck her. Fuck her for being sensitive. If you don't think Tosh's jokes are funny, that's acceptable.
Yeah.
Don't laugh.
Right.
But to have to stand up and go, rape jokes aren't funny... Really?
To you.
But when you went to see Star Wars in the theater, did you really stand up and go, it's not appropriate to cut somebody in half with a lightsaber? Why is that okay?
Because it's different than comedy.
I don't get
Comedy
it.
has to be based in, like, the truth. I don't know what it is either.
Why do people think their opinions...
No, it doesn't have to be. They think it has to be.
They think it.
That's what's scary
yeah.
is when they're going into comedy clubs and getting comics in trouble.
Yep.
That is so fucking scary, and people
Terrible.
just No, it's not this is bad.
Pick your fucking wide, flat ass up and leave the comedy club, you bitch.
He wasn't your cup of tea, as they say. So get your fucking
Yeah.
I had a
Get out of there.
I had a thing in the cellar one night where I fucking brutalized some woman who was being a cunt. And she was talking during my act.
Ugh.
And there was a female reporter from the Post who, in fairness to her, the article she wrote about it, she did quote me accurately, and she printed my explanation. I remember we read it, so I did appreciate that. She didn't lie. But I could tell by the tone of the overall article, she did not love what I said. And I did answer her email, and if I didn't answer her email, I'm glad. I would have just had her tone in there.
Right.
But she did, in fairness. But this was somebody who heard the set and saw it totally different. And meanwhile, I remember the moment. The woman was being a cunt. I shut her up. I tried to even be playful with her. I wasn't mad at her.
Right.
Yeah.
And then her fucking jerk-off boyfriend or fucking pussy-whipped husband had to pipe up. And so I smashed him.
Nice.
People don't understand because you're such entitled fucks and you're so used to nobody telling you about yourselves. When you heckle in a comedy club, the gloves come off.
Right.
And you have begged somebody to attack you.
Right.
Verbally, not physically. We understand. There's nothing worse than when you heckle and then get wounded when somebody brutalizes you, you fucking dummies.
What do you think you're going up against?
But just the idea that you think it's okay for you to be rude and talk
with impunity.
With impunity.
Yeah.
God, people are such... That's because when they complain at work, their complaints are heard. I don't like that American flag out there.
We'll look into that.
We take it down. I don't like that American flag, the Homeowners Association. Now what's happened is people are so used to their complaints being taken seriously that when they heckle or talk in a comedy club, they think that they have the right...
Not funny.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Here's something funny. You're a cunt. Do you know how many sets I've thrown away being barbaric?
I love it.
I'll never forget some guy in the audience. I was on stage at the Cellar, and I was working out a clean set. It was for, it might have been a Letterman set or Kimmel or whatever it was. I wasn't cursing, and this fucking dummy with his dumb wife and dumb daughters was sitting there, and he goes, there are ladies present. There are, first of all, there are in porn, too. Fucking asshole. But that means nothing to me, but I smashed him.
Oh,
because I pointed out, I'm working on a TV set, I haven't cursed once.
Yeah.
You know what Jimmy Wells said, man?
I just hate
my
him.
God.
Well,
what did he
said?
I don't remember what he did, but I know that I smashed him. And in fairness, if you paint the comeback properly, if you structure it, and I was talking in an interview once about it, how I don't like to leave people exits. Like, meaning when people like to be offended, people like to be heard. So if you're going to address harsh shit, I like to set it up in advance. Like, a lot of people have heard me do stuff about, like, well, when you're on stage, you go like something like, I talk about people who are offended. I used to do a bit on how much I hate people who are offended at work, and they're fucking seeking attention. And people in the audience go, they hate it too.
Right.
So you start off with that. You kind of build this cocoon we're all in. We all hate people who get offended.
Cocoon.
Because I know what's coming. There's pedophilia stuff around the corner. But what I've done is I've kind of brought everybody into the room and said, don't we hate people who are offended?
Yeah.
So now it's hard for them to object because they've already signed on.
Right. Yeah.
So, you kind of have to sometimes do that. But Tosh is a seasoned enough comic where he knows what he's doing on stage.
Right, yeah.
And that woman was out of line. She fucking piped up. And he did what he should have done, which he shouldn't have been gentle with her.
No,
he smashed this bitch.
Yep.
But he's a smart guy.
She should have just quietly left if it wasn't her.
Exactly.
She should have just left.
Period.
And just said, that's not for me.
You know, Jimmy Sandusky stuff is fucking hilarious and brilliant.
Thank you.
But I don't condone the kid fucking.
Sure.
But I laughed my ass off.
Absolutely.
I think it's horrendous that what happens to children out there.
And by the way, why is it?
But I could separate the two. Why? I don't understand why people can't do that.
Yeah.
And even those that can't, why do they feel like they need to be heard? You're not a performer, so why do you need to be heard? And what is worse, making fun of pedophilia or Kevin Bacon, who did a great job in The Woodsman, but he did a real portrayal of a kid fucker. Like, he shows you, in a way, humanized the kid fucker.
He's a genius for that.
But he was great at it, but we look at that like, wow, that was a really good role.
Yeah, why is it different?
Why is that acceptable in the eyes of the public? Why are actors never fucking attacked? And I don't want to hear, well, comedy's based in truth, or comedy is your thoughts, because let's just say you wrote the movie. Mm-hmm. Or let's just say somebody wrote you the joke and you did it. So I don't want to hear that shit. And by the way, on Twitter, all you fucking assholes that get offended on Twitter at a joke I make, like a rape joke. Yeah. How about this? If I do a rape joke, people who follow me know the type of comedian I am and know who they're following, so they should unfollow me if they object to something I say.
Easy as that.
But if you read what I say off a retweet, hey, scumbag, yell at the person who retweeted it. You're following them. So you should know who you're following. Don't yell at me, motherfucker.
What a great fucking point.
I didn't bring it to your house. Like, if somebody says to you and tells you a really racist joke, 2 Puerto Ricans and Jews and do this, are you going to hunt down the person that wrote that joke? No. You're mad at the person who fucking told it to you. Don't be mad at me because somebody retweeted me.
Someone that, because they never would have seen, they never would have seen your tweet. Well, but then they see the guy that they...
And that's what's happening here. Everyone is outraged at Daniel Tosh, and they weren't even in the comedy club.
Be mad at the person who told you the joke.
Right.
Daniel Tosh said that joke to a small group of people. I Twitter to a group of people who have chosen to follow me.
Yep.
If they retweet me, well, then you should be mad that you've chosen...
That's the retweet guy.
Because they are retweeting the joke. Be mad at them and unfollow them.
Right.
Don't tell me. I don't give a fuck. The beauty of having a mediocre career is there's nothing they can take from me.
Right.
What are they going to do, fire me from radio because of my Twitter? Tough shit.
Right. Yeah, so she piped
Great
up,
point.
and then Daniel Tosh said, "Wouldn't it be hilarious if,
Yeah.
Oh, she got raped.
She got raped,
gang rape
now or something."
Can we?
And then she left and tried to get her money back. I'm surprised they didn't give her money back.
Well, they apologized. No, they offered. They did. I think they offered her tickets to another show.
Yeah.
And the bottom line is, they apologized. They shouldn't have done that at the Laugh Factory. They should have said, "Look, we're sorry you didn't have a good time, but this is what happens.
Is what we do.
This is what happens in a comedy club." It's funny how nobody's ever complained after a band is on stage and somebody starts screaming, like, you'll catch someone in the audience doing something fucked up, and they'll stop shows. Paul Stanley from Kiss did it because some asshole, Axl Rose, has done it. And these guys that will scream at some dickhead in the audience, and the artist is right to do it. People don't leave and go, I want my money back. They weren't singing at that moment. They're like, what a cool moment that was.
Yeah.
But, I hate the way people think that they should have input into stand-up.
You shouldn't. Sit, enjoy the show, or don't enjoy it. And if you don't, fucking leave.
Okay, I don't even know what this dumb woman's name is, by the way. Of course, she's just some fucking fat blogger, I'm sure. But this is, go to the top, Sam. It's just about, she's at the comedy club, whatever, and she talks about it. So she says Tosh starts making some very generalizing, declarative statements about rape jokes always being funny. How can a rape joke not be funny? Rape is hilarious, etc. And she says, I don't know why he was so repetitive about it, but I felt provoked because I, for one, don't find them funny and never have. So I didn't appreciate Daniel Tosh, and then she writes, or anyone, telling me I should find them funny. So I yelled out, actually, rape jokes are never funny. See, here's what this fucking bitch does.
Yeah.
She sets it up so her rude interruption of an artist's performance is acceptable.
Yes.
Here's what happened, dummy. You went to a show, you didn't like what was said, so instead of quietly leaving, I felt provoked. Who gives a fuck?
Right.
Provoked.
You rudely, here's what she should have said. I was watching a show, I didn't like what I heard, so I rudely interrupted
the guy doing a fucking show.
Right.
That is
fucking up everyone's experience, by the way.
An artist was on stage performing. I didn't like what he said, so instead of being a big girl and going home, I had to seek attention for myself and make it about myself by yelling out. So I yelled out, actually, rape jokes are never funny. Which is, first of all, a lie. Carlin did a brilliant joke on this years ago, a point about what jokes are, where you put the emphasis. So I hate this woman's guts immediately. And then she says, I did it because even though being, and then she puts in quotes, disruptive is against my nature. I felt that sitting there.
Yeah, exactly.
I doubt that, by the way.
I felt that sitting there and saying nothing or leaving quietly would have been against my values as a person and as a woman. So basically, what you're saying is allowing an artist to perform without interruption is against your values as a person and as a woman. So what you're saying is you have to agree with an artist to not interrupt what he's doing.
To not interrupt them.
So if that guy was painting something that religiously she disagreed with, say he was painting something she found objectionable as a woman. If you're a woman and you back Islam, radical Islam, you're a pretty interesting woman to me. So I guess if that guy was, say, painting something Islamic or praising Islam, I guess you should go over and throw paint on it because an artist is giving something that you object to.
She felt provoked.
Yeah, she felt provoked.
So she had to. What if she was watching a Broadway show and the subject matter was something she didn't agree with? Would she stand up and interrupt the actors in the middle of a fucking live performance, just like a comic is doing, a live performance? Would she do that and feel that she was justified?
She might. But if she did it in a movie, everybody in the movie would go, shut the fuck up,
bitch.
Well, think of Book of Mormon.
Yeah,
that's some edgy shit.
Maybe she wouldn't like that.
I don't see people standing up and going, whoa, I don't like what you're doing right there.
Bitch.
So she says, I don't sit there while someone tells me how I should feel about something as profound and damaging as rape.
He's not telling you, you dummy.
And by the way,
he's not talking to you personally, you dummy.
Yes, you do sit there because you've paid to go to a comedy club and hear what the artist is saying. You don't have to agree with it. And if you don't like the show and you walk up to the manager and go, I'd like a refund, okay. That, to me, is a fair course of action.
I got a question, Jimmy. Is it ever acceptable to heckle a comedian?
Never.
There you go.
For what?
There you go.
Your opinion as an audience member doesn't need to be heard by anybody else.
Yep.
It is very acceptable to walk out of his show.
Yeah.
It's very acceptable to ask for your money back.
Is it acceptable if you don't like what you heard from a comic to go home and blog about it?
Yes.
There you go.
That's your opinion.
There you go.
You are allowed to voice your opinion. Yeah, I don't begrudge this woman. I can't comprehend wanting to blog about it.
Right.
Again, it's just this little fucking, please do something. But, sure, that's acceptable. It was an experience you had that you didn't enjoy.
But she didn't just do that. She fucking blurted out shit during a live performance.
Well, then she played the victim. That's what people do. They play the fucking victim.
Yeah.
And then she says, after I called out to him, Tosh paused for a moment and he goes, hey, wouldn't it be funny if that girl got raped by like 5 guys right now? Like right now.
Hilarious.
What if a bunch of guys just raped her? And then she said, I, completely stunned and finding it hard to process what was happening, but knowing I needed to get out of there, immediately nudged my friend, who was completely stunned as well.
Oh, yeah.
And we hightailed it out of there. It was humiliating, of course.
Hightail's easy to fuck.
Especially since the audience guffawed in response to Tosh, their eyes following us as we made our way out of there. I didn't hear the rest of what he said about me. So here's what happened.
Good.
This fucking dummy rudely interrupts.
Yeah.
Tosh smashes her. Because no reasonable person, baby, thinks that Tosh is saying she should be raped in a comedy club. No rational person believes, in the context of a comedy stage, when the audience is laughing, that he is saying, I really want her to be raped, all kidding aside.
Yeah.
If you think that, you're a fucking dummy. And if it wasn't the rape joke, it'd be something else.
Yeah.
And then in the lobby, she spoke with the girl, blah, blah, blah. And at the end, she writes, I should probably add that having to basically flee while Tosh was enthusing about how hilarious it would be if I was gang raped in that small claustrophobic room was pretty viscerally terrifying and threatening all the same.
Not really a small room. Been there.
Even if the actual scenario was unlikely to take place. Right there. She admits She knows that that's not a real scenario.
Right.
But what she does, the same way how this fucking cunt set up her rude interruption to justify it, she now sets up why, even though I know this is ridiculous, here's why everything I'm doing and saying right now is acceptable, and it's a fleeing. This, she has to justify. She knows that she's a fucking shit, and she is just justifying what she wants to say. Where'd that go? At the end, she goes, unlikely to take place. The suggestion of it is violent enough and was meant to put me in my place. No, the suggestion, the response was responding to your heckle. Right. You fucking dummy. She would have a legit argument if Tosh was doing his act and then singled her out for no reason.
And just started railing
and going,
her about
wouldn't it be funny
rape?
if that girl in the white shirt got raped? Like, because that's taking a private person and publicly saying something really harsh for no reason. Like, and even then, as a comedy club, I would side with him. Yeah, but I would understand her being annoyed.
That would be rougher.
I would be a rougher one to explain.
Not that this is rough, by the way.
And at the end, she goes, "Please reblog and spread the word."
Oh, really?
Why do you need the word? If it's so offensive,
right?
Why do you want that spread out there? Oh, that's right. Now you're a part of the story, and you're the victim, and you want to be noticed. Your blogs weren't doing it, so now you want this to do it.
She wants him shut down.
Oh, I hate this fucking chick, and anyone that likes her is a dummy.
Yes.
So I don't even watch Tasha's show. I've heard it's great. I mean, literally, Louis said good things about it. Kyle said it's fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
And I don't know Tosh. I've met him once or twice. He interviewed me once for a Comedy Central. He's a very nice dude.
You don't need to know the person to defend what's right.
But you know what kind of a comic is. He's an edgier comic. This drives me fucking crazy. But I'm not shitting on him for apologizing because I really do get it. Like, when you're making, he has millions at stake, dude. I mean, Daniel Tosh is fucking making money. Yeah. It's just not worth it when his show is already edgy. Comedy Central gives this guy a lot of leeway. It's not worth it.
I bet she sits there going, I made him apologize. Look what I did. Yeah. I made him. Ugh.
And I've really, I've thought about the apology in general that we hear almost on a daily basis a lot lately. And the reason why I don't have a problem with it anymore is because these guys are just put out there by themselves without their company or anybody supporting and helping them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So now I understand it completely that these guys, and we've been there. You know, XM at the time hired us to do an edgy show, and then we went too edgy, I guess, one day, even though any day someone could take a sound clip and try to make something of it.
Yeah.
And then you expect your bosses and your company to back you because they understand exactly what you're about, and they should understand that all we're trying to do is entertain or make the audience laugh. And there you realize, holy fuck, we're out there with a fucking, we're on a raft with no fucking paddle in the middle of an ocean.
Alone.
And you got to do what you got to do, unfortunately. And that's why you see these apologies, these fake fucking apologies, because no one backs you.
No one backs you.
No one's there for you when it matters and counts.
You know who they back? South Park. Because South Park refuses to, like the way South Park handles shit, go fuck yourself, and they move on to do something harsher.
And you know, we don't have to bring up a million old examples. Let's go with the one that we discussed yesterday, the trailer park ESPN guy. His bosses should have just basically said, we got this. You don't have to apologize. Relax. We'll handle this. We know you're trying to be funny. We know that it's a man's network. We got this. But that's never the case. It's never the case. All of a sudden, as an employee or an entertainer, you feel completely vulnerable with no one helping you out.
Yeah.
No one.
No one helps you.
We should have been fired in the past, of course, but we also should have had, backing for some of the shit we've done.
Yeah.
Complete backing. But in the end, they don't have your back. So that's why you got to do what you got to do to save your own ass, which is the fake apology.
Yeah.
And hence why Daniel Tosh is apologizing. He doesn't believe in that apology.
I hope not. No, probably not.
Of course not.
I hate this girl so much because she's such a manipulative little cunt, and I hate the way she's setting up her own fucking bullshit. Oh. You don't think I see what you're doing? Right. You're building in your fucking explanation. It's almost like she's setting up why what she does. You heckled.
Right.
That's it. Get up and get the fuck out if you don't like something. Right. Stop thinking for everybody else. I don't.
Well, that's how radio shows
so
get canceled. I could talk radio. You could talk stand-up, obviously.
Oh.
Radio shows have been canceled because of people that don't even listen to the fucking show.
It was fucking infuriating.
It's happened a million times. So a whole audience that really enjoys a particular radio show has to suffer because of a very small portion of the radio listening.
I don't get the difference.
Huh?
I don't get the difference.
It's the same shit
between somebody at a comedy club and somebody at a Broadway show
or an actor.
She would never stand up at a live performance of any other type but a comic,
because for some reason people feel like laughter is an admission of agreement. People feel like when you laugh, like it's like in movies they don't feel that way. Like everybody laughed when Cameron Diaz had cum in her hair, in Something About Mary. It's very funny, but when you think of it, any woman who had cum in her hair would be humiliated. But for some reason, the ludicrousness of that was acceptable. The over-the-top retarded guy.
Because they're acting.
They're acting.
I laughed when Miggs threw it at her.
I reenacted it.
Why don't people understand that radio personalities, this is an exaggerated version of my personality every fucking day on this show.
Yes.
And I don't even like admitting that because I don't want to give that shit away.
I do
to people.
calm my racism down on the show.
Yeah, there you go.
But
but it goes back to Jimmy. So is it an exaggerated you on stage?
Sure. Everything is you're sarcastic.
But why don't people understand that when they're sitting there?
Because
I knew the answer, obviously, but I just wanted you to say it. So you're an exaggerated version of yourself when you're doing stand-up.
Yeah, like when you think of again Something About Mary. It's a $100 million comedy. So you think of Ben Stiller. He had a dog bite his dick in the movie. It's hilarious. It's a very funny scene.
Of course.
But what you're really seeing is you're seeing a dog biting the dick of an individual. That's a really painful, awful thing, and yet it's funny. So it's like, and I know the difference between rape and a slapstick moment, but this differentiating between what's acceptable and what isn't is what drives me fucking. I don't begrudge anybody their personal line of acceptability, but don't want other people to have that line with you. Just be a big boy or girl and say, that's not for me, and ignore it.
That wasn't his personal view on rape,
No.
Daniel Tosh. Why can't you figure that out?
That's not Charlie Rose he's doing. He's fucking on stage at the Laugh Factory, you dumb hole.
And if you don't like it, you walk out. And guess what? If enough people walk out because they don't like Daniel Tosh's rape humor, then he might have to adjust his comedy, or he might go away. I don't know. But it's not up to you. It's not up to you.